Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the winner's mindset, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the differences between wanting to win and wanting to not lose. Okay, so let's get into it. Before we really start talking about the differences, the thing that we need to discuss, or the couple of things that we need to discuss, are the myths surrounding the winner's mindset, right? Okay, firstly, just because you don't lose doesn't mean you win. Okay, this includes ties, participation awards, free prizes, because most of the time those things that you get for free you don't even want. Secondly, if you just don't lose long enough, eventually you'll win. There is a truth to it, because in order to win eventually you must continue along a path, but just because you don't lose or you don't feel like you're losing, it doesn't mean you're going to win in the end, right? And the third myth that we want to really kind of debunk is winning is not something that just happens, okay? It is a combination of things that line up. And without the right combo, even if you quote unquote win, you won't feel like you did, right? If you're in a relationship and you get the person that you didn't want, or it's easy, or whatever the right combination is for you in your life, if you were to quote unquote win that thing, you wouldn't really be fulfilled or happy. Consolation prize, that's really what I would call it. Now that we've got some of those common myths out of the way, we can really get into the differences between winning and simply wanting to not lose, okay? So the first difference is kind of the foundation on which all of the others are built on, and it's really the bottom line. And that is, winners are willing to risk everything. They are willing to invest everything to win. And it doesn't matter if they don't have to risk everything. It doesn't matter if it never really even comes to that point. The fact that they are willing to is what makes them the winner, and it makes them have the winner's mindset, right? On the flip side, those that want to quote unquote not lose, that mentality causes conservation, okay? And from this point on, we're not going to just call them people who don't want to not lose. We're going to call them conservationists as well. Okay, they want to invest, and are willing to, but they're not willing to invest everything into themselves. They want to give it their best, or they want to try, but they're not willing to give their all, right? They'll say something like, yeah, I'll do my best. And then you ask them, well, did you do this? Did you that? And they'll say, well, I was going to, but then it's always some excuse, right? They're willing to fight, but they're not willing to fight to the end, right? This brings us to our second point. Settling for the bare minimum, okay? The mindset that wants to not lose always, and I really mean always, settles. They will say to themselves something like, well, I would have to risk it all, and I would have to do so much to do whatever, right? Whatever the goal is, be whatever. But they'll say, okay, well, I'm not willing to quite risk it all, or I don't want to give it all the way, so I'll just do this instead. Okay, it's okay if I just do this for now, and then eventually I'll do this, right? So what happens is they'll just settle, okay? They settle for whatever it is, wherever they're at, instead of the willingness, right? That's really the big key. The willingness is missing. They'll just settle. They'll say, I don't want to have to give to the max. I don't want to have to be the max. I don't want to have to push myself to the max. That's too much, right? So they settle. The winner's mindset doesn't really do that. The winner's mindset is not okay settling for the bare minimum. Okay, they can't be. When you're in the winner's mindset, the idea of settling is irritating to you. When you're in the winner's mindset, the idea of settling for the bare minimum, it rubs you the wrong way, because what it's doing is triggering your own version, your own answer to what your worthiness is. If you feel like you deserve this in your life and something is trying to force you to settle or wants you to settle, the winner's mindset will force itself to keep pushing, because it just can't settle. That starts bothering their deserving. Moving to our third point, this is scarcity versus abundance. And it's kind of interesting because, you might say, like, what does scarcity and abundance have to do with, like, winner's mindset? But it's kind of interesting how scarcity mindset is the belief that there isn't enough. So as a result, the person becomes overly conservative. Remember, we talked about the conservationist being conservative to a point that's detrimental. So when a person doesn't want to lose, they will conserve. They don't want to risk it all, all because of the fear that there won't be enough, right? Oh, if I have to invest 90% of my money in order to have the lifestyle I want, I could live off 10%, but that's too much. I mean, what if, so it starts putting you into this scarcity mindset, right? There's a fear there. The abundance mindset, on the other hand, says that there is enough. I could give everything away and it will be fine because there is plenty. Not only is there plenty, but plenty is coming back to me, as well as everything else is coming back to me, right? The abundance mindset says when I think of abundance, opportunity shows up. When I think of abundance, wealth shows up, right? So it's not really a big deal. I earn money and I give money and I spend money. And I spend money and I give money because I earn money. Money flows freely through me, right? So it's not a fear of giving or a fear of risking it all, because you understand that giving and receiving are the same vibrational frequency, right? So the abundance mindset and the winner's mindset play together beautifully. And the scarcity mindset, they just simply want to not lose, right? The conservationist, that really goes together hand in hand as well. At this point, we've talked about three things. We've talked about the scarcity versus abundance as it applies to the winner's mindset, settling for the bare minimum, just the biggest difference being the lack of effort or the lack of willingness, right? So at this point, and I must warn you, there is always a duality in life, right? For every light, there is a dark. And so we have to kind of get into the dark side of the winner's mindset, because if we're not careful and we don't keep our emotions in check, we can kind of tilt and eventually spiral into the negative aspects of the winner's mindset, because there are negative aspects. Just like there's positive ones, there's negative ones. The first one on our list is desperation. And desperation is a thing that is truly alive because it grows, right? The winners understand desperation. When all winners understand desperation. If you want to win and you want to win something badly, the residual of that is a fear. I want to win so badly that I'm kind of scared that I won't win, right? So if there's a race, for example, and you're training hard, you're giving it your all, you're doing everything you can, but you have that fear, you might start to let your desire to win become toxic, and you'll spiral. You might become greedy, or because of the fear, you might self-sabotage or sabotage others, right? If we go back to the whole race analogy, one might take steroids or sabotage other players or other racers, right? Anything to win. That desperation. At that point, the winner's mindset becomes unstable. And that's the winner's mindset. The I don't want to lose mindset spirals as well. First, they're just, I don't want to lose. And then they're the scarcity mindset. And then they fall all the way into this desperation, right? Like hoarders, or like those super cheap people. I saw this lady, like, I don't know, it's a show, and it's like these super cheap people, and she would like cook with oil, right? And then like after she got through cooking with oil, she would pour it back in the bottle. And then the next time she cooked, she would use the same oil, and then she would pour it back in the bottle. Like, you're literally not willing to give anything away to the point that you're cooking with the same oil like 20 times. Like, that's weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? But those people exist. They have become almost desperate to conserve, right? They're at a point where it's not just scarcity anymore, it's something greater. I don't want to just discuss the negative aspects of winning and not offer some kind of clarity, right? Because sometimes the winner, you want to win, you want to win, you want to win, and the fear is that you won't get there, right? So I want to offer some clarity. And the first thing is you got to get over your emotional issues. I do this through intentional journaling myself, but you could dance, you can sing, be creative, make vision boards, arts and crafts, anything to just get yourself out of your head for a little while until you can go back and think, right? Anything that helps you work through your emotions. Because if you're so afraid that you won't win, you put yourself in a bad situation, because now your emotions start doubling up on themselves, right? You become greedy because you're afraid that you won't have enough. You become fearful because you feel underconfident, right? So your emotions literally start attacking you, right? So you've got to get through those emotional issues. Another way to go about this is to ask yourself, why do you want to win so bad? And what are you what are you losing besides the goal? Okay, for example, if you were gonna go, like, let's go back to the race, right? So if you were running the race and you're doing everything and you start feeling those fearful feelings, why do you want to win so bad? And then what else are you losing? Okay, you're losing time. You know, all those hours of practice. You're losing energy. Okay, all the times when you wanted to go to bed or quit, but you just kept going. You're losing your title. Sometimes if you've been winning, right, you're known as a winner. And if you lose, then all of a sudden you're known as a loser, right? So sometimes what we're fighting so hard against is not even the fear of losing, but just the fear of being called a loser. So make a list, right? A genuine list of things that you feel like you're losing on top of losing the goal, right? I didn't just lose the race, but I lost my title as winner. Therefore I am a loser. I didn't just lose the race, but I lost all the hours that I could have been hanging out with friends, right? I lost part of my life. I didn't just lose the race, but I lost, right, countless other things, friends, opportunities, whatever, right? Make a list. That will help you and will help guide you, and you'll also get to see all of the things that you're not losing, right? Going back to the race, you might say, okay, I lost time hanging out with friends, right? But I also gained a really nice body because I run all the time, right? Whatever. So when you have that list, it can help give you perspective, and you can kind of check off the things that you're actually not losing. Just because you lose once doesn't make you a loser. The second kind of like negative aspect of the winner's mindset is manipulation as a resource or a tool. When the winner's mindset gets to the point of manipulation, it's manipulation not only mentally, but it's physically and emotionally as well. And it's anything that it needs to do or say in order to win, right? This is getting to the predatory side and the predatory nature of the winner. Okay, just like the desperate winner, the manipulative winner has become so engrossed with winning that they'll do anything, right? Including they'll manipulate anybody. Sometimes people steal, people will set up scenarios just to get others to act the way they need them to act in any situation to get the emotional response they need in order to win. There's a book, and if you want to read it, it's kind of scary. It's by Iceberg Slim, and it's called Pimp. And it's really eye-opening, but it's an account from a guy who was a pimp and how he used to get women to do what he needed them to do. And it wasn't like he was beating them or doing all these things. He would literally create scenarios with people, like acting like plays. Like he would literally create scenarios and have it would trigger people and get those people to do what he wanted them to do. The conservative person, on the other hand, who just wants to not lose, somehow in the level of manipulation, them and the winner's mindset become the same person. It's like they're opposite sides of the same coin, right? The manipulative winner will do anything, say anything, and trick anybody mentally, physically, or emotionally to get what they want. Well, the conservative person, the conservationist, right? The person who just wants to not lose, they'll do the exact same thing. They will manipulate with words, thoughts, or actions, mentally, physically, or emotionally, just to stay inside of their comfort zone. For this mentality, the only thing that will help is like genuinely a moral intervention, or if the winner or the conservationist runs up on the right person. Here's what I'm saying. There are some people and they can try to run game on you and manipulate you, but because you see it coming and you know who they are, they can't win. Those people love you. Like it's a strange thing. Like it's a super strange thing. And on the opposite end, the conservationists, they are the people who somehow manage to have husbands and wives, but like the husbands and wives, they love how conservative they are and how much they conserve. And I'll give you an example. It's that same show I'm telling you, with all these crazy people who like are super cheap or super, they're just super conservationists, right? This one particular lady, she was making her family use the same boiled water over and over and again. Like if they cook food and make spaghetti, they would boil the water, and then she would use that boiled water for something else, and then she would use that boiled water like so many times before she threw it out. Or like if one child took a bath, then they couldn't let the water out. The next child had to come in and take a bath, or just all kind of like crazy things in the name of conservation. But like, you got people who are looking for relationships and they can't. They're like, oh, nobody wants me. But like, these people are always married and have families and have, like, it's crazy, right? But that's because they met somebody and that person was just completely taken over with how well they live inside the scarcity mindset, right? Or there are people who manipulate and they chase, and the only thing they want is to score, right? I'll lie to you, I'll cheat you, I'll trick you just to get in your pants, right? And then there's a woman or a man, just depending on the game, and no matter how much they chase, they can never beat you. That person loves you forever, right? So when you run up on the right person, that kind of stops the manipulative mindset winner, or the manipulative mindset conservationist. But outside of that, they'd have to have some kind of moral intervention. They'd have to turn their life to God or become Buddhist or something, right? Okay, lastly, we have the type of winner that has what I like to call the broken bird syndrome. And the broken bird syndrome is kind of interesting because what it does is it doesn't really use manipulation. It picks targets that have already been manipulated to a point of like just brokenness, right? Okay, so follow me. Imagine there are 3 types of birds, right? You've got the healthy bird. The healthy bird can fly. The healthy bird can soar, right? The healthy bird can hunt for itself. The healthy bird can do anything a healthy bird can do, right? And then you have a bird and it hasn't learned how to fly. It might be a baby bird, right? And the bird could actually fall out of a tree and start flying on its own because it's a bird, right? Like, it's a bird. That's what birds do. They fly. Those particular birds, even though they don't know how to fly yet, if pushed, they could fly because it's in their nature. Right? And the third type of bird is the broken bird. The broken bird is grounded because it is broken. It has a broken wing, it has a broken foot, but something about the bird and all of its natural bird mechanisms doesn't work because it's broken. And there are people who, when they pick a target, they try to pick the broken bird on purpose. Because the healthy bird might sit on a branch, and it's sitting there because it wants to. It's not flying away because it wants to. The bird that doesn't know how to fly is sitting there because it doesn't know how to fly, but it's not necessarily sitting there because it can't fly. But the broken bird can never fly away because it's broken. So until the broken bird becomes healed, it's grounded, right? And that's an easy target, low-hanging fruit, right? There are people who are winners. They have the winner's mindset. They will manipulate. They'll be desperate, right? If they want something, if they feel like their title is on the line. Like, imagine a guy who has slept with every girl he's ever said he was going to sleep with. Right? I'm going to sleep with her, or I'm going to get her, I'm going to score, right? The winner, right? And he sees 3 birds. Which bird do you think he'll pick? Do you think he'll pick the healthy bird that can fly away? He won't. Do you think he'll pick the bird that can't fly, or doesn't know how to fly, excuse me? Do you think he'll pick the bird that doesn't know how to fly? Maybe, but see, there's always this chance that the bird will learn how to fly. So he might take his chances depending on who he is or how he thinks. And then there's the person that always picks the broken bird. And this really isn't just for men. There are women who think the same way and play the same way, right? They will pick the bird that's broken because that bird can't get away, right? That's a type of winner. That's a type of winner. And there's a type of conservationist that has the same mindset. It's kind of scary. But there's a type of conservationist that has the same mindset, right? You got the same 3 birds, the healthy bird, the bird that doesn't know how to fly, and the bird that's broken. There are conservationists who will pick people to pick targets because it is so comfortable to them that they're okay. If it's a woman or a man, like I said, it doesn't matter, and they pick the broken bird, but these are the people who just want to not lose, right? They might pick somebody that they know they can get, or they feel like they can get without really having to try hard or put forth effort or energy, right? They'll look at somebody and say, well, this person might be a little bit frumpy, or this person might be a little bit unsure of their worth. And I know that I could get this person and I wouldn't lose. Like, I just don't want to lose somebody, right? So I can get the person that's like never had a relationship in their life. So I just know that I won't ever lose my mate because I can pick someone who's, the low hanging fruit. It's the same concept. It's like I said, the shadow side. You see the conservationist and the winner really become the same person, right? The conservationist and the winner really become the same person on the negative aspect of the winner's mindset, right? The conservationist is all about what can I do so that I don't have to lose, so that I can conserve as much energy, conserve as many of my resources as possible. And the winner's mindset is like, who can I pick? What can I do so that I can win? And there will be no challenge. So I would love to hear from you in the comment section. I want to hear what kind of people have you run up on? What kind of people have you met? Right? What mindset, now that you're thinking about it and thinking about the different types, what mindsets have you come across? What mindset are you in? What mindset do you want to be, right? I want you to know that you are loved. I want you to know that you can do anything you put your mind to. And I want you to always believe in yourself completely. With that, as always, goodbye.